Welcome to another installment of the AskVideo Cast. Again, we're connecting with you from Vancouver, Canada, the home of AskVideo. As 2015 quickly approaches, we find ourselves with a lot to be thankful for when reflecting upon the last year. Most specifically, though, it's for you, our customers, who continue to grow in numbers, and through your financial support, you not only allow us to continue to operate, but evolve and create new tools which we believe help improve the way the world learns. Let's start things off by quickly highlighting some of the more significant products that we've brought to market in 2014. Music and audio production has been our definitive focus over the years, so let's start with that. We had major releases in our ear training series covering the fundamentals of melodies, rhythm, and harmony. Our ear training series seeks to broaden connections between your ears, mind, and instruments. We launched a new series called Electronic Artists Revealed, where we connect directly with major producers in the EDM scene and explore their inspiration techniques, workflow, and production secrets. This highlights our commitment to working with leaders in industry to provide you with the very best practical training. Next, we move on to the developments of the big players in the DAW space. We release courses covering Reason 8, Pro Tools 11, Live 9, Cubase 7.5, and more recently Cubase 8, which we'll talk about in further detail later. We had further explorations of Logic Pro X. We initiated a relationship with the developers of Bitwig, and we're excited to provide immediate training options to their users the first day the DAW came to market. Moving beyond workstations, we had huge releases pertaining to supplementary audio programs and plugins. Mentioning just a few, we released courses covering Fmod, BDF3, Break Tweakers, Easy Drummer, DaVinci Resolve, Liquid Rhythm, Waves plugins, and tools from Isotope, Loop Editor 2, and Triumph. Next, Audio 2014 really signified our commitment to publishing content focused on film and video. We further explored many of the major contributors to the editing world, covering iMovie, Final Cut X, and Adobe Premiere Pro. We also covered supplementary programs like Final Draft and the fundamentals of storyboarding and character design. Our renewed focus on film was exemplified by our multi-course release in the Filmcraft series with Michael Wall. A longtime partner and renowned educator and filmmaker, this series establishes a new standard for production quality and detail for our brand, and we look forward to releasing additional courses in the same series in 2015. Outside of audio and video, we had major releases covering Adobe CC, Creative Cloud, as well as practical skills training for those interested in graphic design and digital media. We covered some advancements in the big three, starting with insights into Google's development of their apps ecosystem, touched upon Microsoft's Office and Windows 8 app development, as well as Apple's revamped iWork suite and the launch of their new operating system, Yosemite. So we've mentioned some releases, but left out many. In summary, 2014 was our most prolific year of production to date. That being said, we're extremely excited about 2015, as it has the potential to become the most transformative year in the history of the company. So Martin, I don't know if you can remember this far back, but what was it like when when you first started using Cubase 8? Or Cubase, I should say.
It's funny you should say that that far back, because it has been a long time. I mean, I started using Cubase, oh gosh, it'd be in 90 or 91. And when I started using it, the world of music production was very different than it is today. For example, there was no hard disk recording, there was no DSP effects. I mean, Cubase came on a 1.4 megabyte floppy disk, and I was using at that point in time an Atari 1040 ST, I think it was. So basically it was just straight up MIDI sequencing, that's all you could do. But at that point in time, it was a revelation and a revolution, because it really gave us the power to start, making electronic music. So everything was done through MIDI. I think at that point I had a Sequential Circuits multi-track, also Sequential Circuits Tom drum machine. Geez, other things I can't remember right now. Hill Remix mixing desk. Anyway, so it was all outside the box, so to speak. Now, as you went forward in time, I believe it was around 1995, 96, Cubase also revolutionized the music making market again by introducing 4 tracks of audio recording. If you can imagine, 4 tracks of audio recording, that's all I had access to. And so it was pretty interesting, because you record a track and then bounce it down, record another track and bounce it down, record another track and bounce it down, and that's how you record your audio. But frankly, computers weren't really fast enough, so even at that point in time, pretty much everything was still done through MIDI.
Yeah, for sure. I think Cubase was instrumental in actually releasing the first VST kind of the platform where you could actually bring in alternative instruments from other providers and bringing in sort of the influence of other developers to enrich sort of the scene, and kind of think about like the world before VSTs and before plugins. And it's just like, for people like myself who make music today, it's just hard to imagine a world of that many kind of limitations, yet the music was still so good, you know. And it's like,
You know, in some ways it was almost better. I mean, you know, virtual studio technology, I think is what VST stands for. But yeah, that was a great thing when it came out. But like, check this out. When we used to sample things back then, for example, if I was sampling a record to make, you know, a disco cut up or something, because we had such little sample time in our samplers, I would actually pull my samples at 45 BPM and then slow them back down to 33 in the sampler, just so I could save that 1 second of sample space.
yeah, it's that limitation which forced a lot of producers in that era to really like know their machines, know their workflow, and create some of the best music of that era, you know.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of producers, frankly, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of producers that when they moved to having all the instruments and effects that they could at their disposal, started making terrible music because they got hung up in these little loops of, does that reverb sound better than this reverb, instead of focusing on just making the music.
Do you still make music today?
I do.
You do? And what's your DAW of choice, if I may ask it?
Well, my DAW of choice is Logic, and it has been, ever since really the turn of the century. I mean, I converted to Logic, and then I ended up getting hired by Apple to write their courseware. So I was the original courseware designer for Logic, and also the original, lead educator for Logic. So I taught, at that point in time, I taught all the universities, all the technical schools, anyone that wanted to be an official Apple training center. I was the one that went and sort of indoctrinated them into the official way of teaching Logic, which was easy because I also wrote all the courseware, so I knew it inside out. But I haven't used anything but Logic since then. And getting back to what we were talking about earlier, I really am I call it risk processing for audio, reduced instruction set computing. But I basically just use what's in the box with Logic now. I might use some higher end mastering plugins like Isotopes Ozone 6 and stuff like that. But when I make my music, I'm strictly Logic, all the way through, front to back.
It's amazing. I remember when Logic was like $1,000, Logic Studio was like $1,000 purchase, and Apple, I guess with the release of Logic X, the latest version, really reduced the price, and as a value package, it's just incredible what you can make right out of the box with that suite. So I don't doubt that you can make some amazing work just within the program. So
for me these days, though, I'll tell you, music production is now just a hobby. I mean, if you went back to the 90s, it's what I did for a living. But when it comes to running companies like AskVideo, it pretty much takes up all your time, so it's very hard to get into the studio at night and start cranking out the music.
No doubt.
But it's good for the soul.
That it is. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with us. It's been remarkable to sort of connect with someone who's been in the industry, who's been in the game for so long, and who has insight into the development of these core technologies. So thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Always a pleasure.
A lot goes into producing an AskVideo course. Let's take a look at what goes into the video editing process.
It's our job to take the content from all around the world from our amazing superstar trainers and basically make it as good as we possibly can before it ends up being published and served.
What was that saying? I think it's audio is half the picture.
Well, I remember hearing it as like video is half audio.
I graduated from Vancouver Film School's sound design program about 1.5 years ago, so that's helped me out a lot here, trying to make the courses sound as good as they can. With each course, the trainer will deliver us about 20 or so videos. We'll go through and edit it to make it sound as good as it can, and highlight important information in the videos, point at things with big orange arrows, put boxes around things, add text boxes. And then once we've edited all the videos, we'll go through and make sure the audio levels are the same all the way through, so it's kind of a smooth experience and nothing is jarring when you're switching between videos. And then after that, we send them over to Francesco. He'll compress them and then put them up onto the website for you to watch.
I've been an educator for, quite some time now, it turns out, since the early 90s. But that's only one of my streams. I've actually been a designer for about that sort of length of time as well. Being a designer for many years, like I have been. I mean, one of the things, for instance, I like to do some calligraphy. I would love to do more hand drawing, but I ended up being more of a computer CAD technician, so computer drawing, technical drawing, I guess you could say. Because the company was so highly specialized in professional video and audio, they were looking to try and expand into the 2D and 3D graphic side of things. So that's one of the reasons I came here, is to sort of help expand that part of the library as well. And thankfully, we've been able to do that quite successfully. So for instance, if you've seen our animation courses, our graphic design courses, those are some of the best courses I've seen in a very long time.
My sound design background has a big effect on my music. Very computer-based, all electronic, very sample-based. I do some ambient music. My latest record, Stereoscope, is very ambient. One interesting thing about this workplace is that all our coworkers aren't actually restricted to this building. We have people in the UK and New York. We're constantly talking to them on Skype and through email, keeping in touch on what we're working on. Not only that, but all the customers that watch these videos are from all over the world. I'm really excited for 2015. We've got a lot of interesting content coming through the pipeline out to you guys.
Definitely make sure to stay tuned, listen in, and watch carefully, because it's going to be a great year.
That brings us to the end of our holiday cast. Again, we just want to say how grateful we are for your continued support. We're really excited about 2015 and our next opportunity to connect with you. So from all of us at AskVideo, happy holidays.
From all of us here.